Hey, everybody. Wanted to jump on here. Happy Monday morning. Hope everyone out there is safe and sound from any hurricane tornado damage, and all you restoration professionals are getting after it out there helping your clients. I know we are. Been on the phone all weekend, all morning, and again, I'm really privileged to be in a position to help. Is the way I look at it, and this is really our time to shine, our time to get out there and work with the community and help people. And one thing that's important to me is getting out and physically being on site, especially for some of these larger, more complex losses. I'm not the guy who's just sitting back in the office pushing paper. If you follow me, you can probably tell I'm not like a normal, not a normal good or bad, but I'm not like the normal lawyer you'd expect, that nerd at law school who, has his caseload delivered to him and then whatever, I don't know, whatever these people do. That's not how we roll. We're proactive, we're go-getters, and I'm super happy to be in that position to be able to do it, something I'm passionate about. So let me jump into this topic because I'm getting so many questions on this issue. When you have a high hurricane deductible, should you even file a claim? So let's talk about this in a logical progression. So the first thing is, if your property is damaged, you have to fix it, right? So we get that out of the way. Next is, how am I going to pay for it, right? So obviously you can always pay cash for it. And then you could also finance it. So self-finance, use a financing company. And then the third option would be availing yourself of the insurance coverage that you've been paying premiums for, right? And this insurance coverage is designed, it's a product you've been paying for, designed to help you out in this situation. So generally speaking, it would make sense to use the product you've purchased to help you restore your property, right? The wrinkle in this situation is hurricane deductibles are typically, well, they are percentage based in Florida, 2%, 5%, you can get them up to 10%. But if you have a mortgage, then you need a conforming insurance policy. If you're a homeowner, it's going to be an HO3 policy, and it's going to have either a 2% or 5% deductible. Now, sometimes people have a 5% deductible because it saves them money in premiums, and it costs them more when they have a casualty event. Sometimes people have a 2% deductible, and it's a little less when you have to pay your deductible, but you're going to pay more for that policy. So you've been kind of financing this portion of the loss anyways, right? If you had some savings on your insurance, theoretically, maybe you should have been setting some of that aside, in case you were self-insuring for more of a loss, right? So let's jump into the next step here. So now we know our insurance deductible is going to be 2% or 5%. So we've seen them from, I talked to a gentleman this morning with an $11,000 2% deductible. Not bad if you have to replace a whole roof. And I talked to an apartment complex owner over the weekend, and he's got a deductible in the high six figures. It's still going to make sense for him to move forward because we're going to recover millions of dollars for him. And that's really what we're talking about, is the analysis. If we have a high deductible and we have low damages that don't exceed the deductible, then yeah, you're self-insured for that portion and you're going to want to just pay retail out of pocket. Same thing now if it's exactly equal, right? Hurricane deductible, damages. That'd be really weird, but if it happened theoretically, right? Again, you probably don't want to submit a claim. You're not going to get a check from your insurance company, so you don't want to push that claim through. You're just going to take your savings or however you can, and you're going to self-insure for that portion of the loss, and you're going to make your property restored the right way. Now, what if it exceeds by a vast amount, right? You've got an $11,000 deductible and you've got an $80,000 roof or a $120,000 roof or $500,000 roof and other damages, right? Well, then it's very, very obvious again that you should avail yourself of those insurance proceeds under the contract that you've been paying for to help you in this exact situation, right? Now, the tough analysis comes in when you've got that high deductible and maybe you barely exceed it. So that's where it's going to get a little tougher. And you're going to have to try to make the best decision for yourself, for your family, keeping in mind that, your insurance you're going to have on your clue report, whatever, you're always going to have that this guy's made a claim. Will they rate you a little higher? I don't know. They're supposed to, whatever. But we kind of know what typically happens. And if you do have a claim history, you may be paying more for insurance in the future. So that's another additional consideration. So What we usually tell people in that position when they're like, well, I don't know, it may be minor damage. What I explain to people is get a professional to inspect your property. You might be surprised by the amount of damages that you have and are owed under that policy that you weren't aware of. If you're a homeowner, you're not necessarily an insurance or building professional. No one expects you to be, right? And those people exist and they're happy to help you. So that's what I would always say by means of a first step is, no matter where you fit with the deductible, lower, equal, a little more, or much, much more. Either way, the first step is gather the right information, right? So get a professional out there to help you understand what's damaged, what needs to be restored, and how much all of that's going to cost you. And then with that strong amount of information in mind, you're going to be able to make the best decision for yourself. So hope that helps. And we'll be jumping on with more questions as we get them. So keep them coming. Thanks, everyone.